This is question 3 of my evaluation. What have you learned from your audience feedback? The first time I tried to get audience feedback was just trying to get a general knowledge of what people thought about thriller trailers, which is what the genre I went for along with social realism. I asked 4 people the same set of questions, which were, what do you like about thrillers? The first question got 4 responses. The first one was from Angela. She said she liked the enigma to them, the problem solving and the problem that they're trying to solve in the film. To address this to my trailer, I think we do try to apply that, and we try to, because most thriller trailers do have that aspect of trying to problem solve. However, because of the social realism aspect of it, I think it fits better with a montage if you don't really know what's going on, and it still does fit to the genre. Dave said he likes them because they're a bit dark, and I think in our trailer we tried to obviously carry this out. Like Owen acts quite moody in it, and obviously the mise-en-scène we filmed at night sometimes, so obviously that adds to the darkness and the mystery of the story. Owen said he liked the suspense of not knowing what's around each corner. I think we've definitely applied this into our trailer because suspense is the main aspect of it. Some of the shots obviously don't seem like they fit well together, but the way that I've edited them and put them together, I think they do fit quite well, and they do fit with the social realism thriller genre. Nathan said that the genre of a thriller is quite unique, and it obviously it fits females and males, but moreover just males, which is typical to quite popular genres. Our trailer does feature a male and female, but obviously the main character is Owen, who's a male. There are Phoebe's also in it, and she has a speaking part, so that does involve the female aspect also. The next question I asked was, what do you expect to see in a thriller trailer? The first answer I got was off Angela, and she did say that the character development throughout and not a lot of action. To apply this to our trailer, I would say the character is definitely the main focus of the trailers. Owen is in mostly every shot, and it shows different things that he's doing. Also, there is quite a bit of action in ours, or the hints at the action that's going to happen in the film. So I think that is keeping within not a lot of action also, but having a bit of action at the same time. The next answer I got was finding different clues. I would say that this does fit with our trailer because we added just the right amount of action without obviously giving too much of the film away. There's parts where like Jamie's car speeds off, there's baseball bats, there's running, there's chase scenes. And I think because of this action, it also does hint at clues and the narrative of the story. He also said a lot of violence to be added in, and I do think we have addressed this because there's, especially with the baseball bat and the confrontation scene between Owen and Jamie when they nudge past each other. Angela said she'd expect to see a bit of a climax in the film, like a peak in the action, and I think we've done that with our montage. I think that's like the main focus along with the character development of our trailer. The next question asked was, what age rating would you expect to see for a thriller trailer? And all 3 answers were 15, mostly just because a 12 would be aimed at younger audiences, and I don't think that the youth of today would understand the maturity of the film, the deeper aspects in it. However, an 18 would be too much because the violence isn't brutal, there's no bloodshed. So I think 15 is the right age rating for our trailer, which is what we've put it as. The next question was, do you think the main character should be male or female? Every person question answered female. I think this is because they've mostly comparing it to what they've already seen. We haven't done this, we've used a main character who's a male, obviously it's Owen, and I think we've done this because we wanted to challenge like what's usually expected in a thriller trailer but still keep them with the genre of it. Angela listed Girl on the Train, which is obviously quite big at the moment, and the majority of films that are thrillers are female main character lead roles. It's also said that females have more emotion and a better way of showing it, but I don't really agree with that because I think it just depends on the quality of the acting, and Owen did quite a good job at this and getting the emotion across. The next question was, what colour scheme? Everyone that answered said similar things like dark, grey, black, blue. Like, then Angela said a blue tinge or a green tinge just to show a bit of difference. I think everyone wanted to go for something a bit dark to get, obviously, keep with the genre and get the point across of the story. That's got quite deep meanings. I stuck with this in my trailer, as we did film at night at some point, and most of the clothes were dark and they weren't bright, they were quite dull. When I asked Owen to review my animatic storyboard, he did give quite a detailed list of some criticisms that he had about it and also some good things. The first thing he said was, it seems there's too many people, keep the focus on the main character, don't make it confusing. I agree with this, as we did have quite a lot of chase scenes and they weren't labelled and you couldn't really tell who the story was about, so we did obviously change this, and there's only, I think there's 2 more characters. Now there's Jamie and there's Nathan, and they're only in a few scenes, and Owen is obviously in the majority of the film. The second thing he said was the drone shot might be a bit too ambitious if you don't know how to use a drone camera, and I totally agree with this, as we wanted to have a drone shot of the car at the start as the opening scene. I didn't know how to use the drone, and I was going to borrow it off my brother, and obviously the camera would have been a bit shaky if I didn't know how to use it. So we developed this by just having a long shot of the car, the same exact shot but a long mid shot from the car. The next thing he said was, there's too much talking going on for a trailer, it might give too much away, and I totally agree. In the animatic storyboard there's a lot of speech scenes and a lot of diegetic sound, and I think we developed this by only adding a few shots and a few scenes where there are a bit of talking. I think in total is about 6 lines spoken at most, and most of it is obviously a voiceover done by Jamie, who's supposed to be voicing Owen. The next thing he said was that the shots from the house might look better at the start rather than in the montage area, as it doesn't seem to fit. We didn't do very many house shots actually, like most of the shots were outdoors, they would fit with the action. However, we did take this advice, and the few scenes that we did in the house were at the start, before the montage music kicks in especially. He also says the talking shots looked too repetitive throughout. We did get rid of this, as I just addressed earlier, as we don't really have many talking shots. The shots of a person driving a car seem to be fitting to the genre, add more of this. We did take this on board, as in the animatic storyboard we only had a few shots. One of those was the dashboard of the car, one was shifting gear, and one of Owen driving. We changed this because we had car conversations with Phoebe and Owen, the shots of that. We also had the car speeding off, Owen jumping into the car, a shot through the dashboard, and I think this fit well. He said, spread out the shots of the car in the montage, don't bunch them all together. I agree with this, because in the animated storyboard, all the shots of the car were just at the end. However, in the trailer, we actually ended up putting them quite spread out. We did some in the middle of the montage, and then some at the end of the car speeding off away. The last thing he said was he's not keen on the ending of the gun to the head, it might give away too much of the story in the trailer, and we didn't actually end the story with the gun in our trailer. We didn't use a gun at all. We had a baseball bat, that was the most violent weapon. The end of our trailer, we changed it to Owen on a phone call talking to Phoebe, and then the last shot is of a train going past, and then that's when the title cards pop up. Now the next sort of feedback I had was off Tom, and that's once he'd actually reviewed my trailer. He said, point out the shot in the dream and waking up a bit more clearer, maybe adding a white overlay to distinguish dream and reality. See, I liked Tom's idea, but I didn't want to dwell on that scene in the trailer, because I don't think it's that important. So I didn't add it because I think it might have looked a bit cheesy and a bit cringe. He also said add a montage of fast shots to fit the theme of the thriller of social realism, which we definitely did, as most of our trailer is a montage scene. Now the last lot of feedback we had in our trailer was the sound score feedback from Dave and Georgia. Dave said the slow sound score gives connotations of emotion and tension, however a harder, more punchy beat is needed for the action and montage. And that's when just the start of the music was made by Jamie, and it was quite deep and quite emotional because I was adding a voiceover to it which tells the story more, and we have obviously applied Dave's feedback and we've added we've added a bit more of a punchy beat in, and for the montage music, especially when the montage starts, Georgia said, I like the slow sound score from the beginning, but I think you need a heavy beat in the middle to build tension. And again, like with Dave's comment, we did add the punchy beat and put that before the montage music started, along obviously with diegetic sound throughout.